Hi, my name's Philip Dooley, CEO of Class Coach. This is how we're going to implement Class Coach within your school. Step 1. Print a blank test. Class Coach will now provide you with a student number stamp and a marking stamp. Stamp the student number on the page. Put a marking stamp next to each question. Put an additional mark if partial credit is required. Now you need to scan the blank test to your provided Class Coach email. Copy the paper for the amount of students within your class. Now it's time for the students to do the test. Ensure that all students fill in their student number on each page. Just like normal, the teacher marks the test. If the student gets it wrong, leave the box empty. If the student gets it right, mark in the box. Now that you have completed marking the test, scan all the tests to the Class Coach email. We can make any visualization you want, but here's an example of a visualization that was created. Now you can review the results of the class and each individual student. In the top left-hand corner, we can actually filter by date. Let's click on Test 1 to see how the students performed. If we scroll down, we can differentiate the students on their grades. On the right-hand side, we've broken each test down into the topics that were covered. So in this test here, we can see that one-step multiplication and division equations was weak for all students. If we click on the individual student, we can actually see their performance in each and every topic. If we scroll down to the weaker students, we can see that they're struggling in more than one areas. These are the performances of test 1 and 2 combined, and we can see these are all the topics that were covered in both tests. But one thing we really wanted to look at was the one-step multiplication and division equations. We want to drill into one-step multiplication equations. So here from test 1, we can see that the student performance was low. However, in test 2, we can instantly see the results. So now we want to see how the students performed in test 3. If we again look at the results for all the students, we can see that evaluating functions was a little bit lower at approximately 50%. On the left-hand side, again, we can see all the student individual performance. So if we scroll down to the weaker students, we can really identify where they're struggling. Again, we wanted to compare test 3 and test 4. So we went over the topics again. Here we want to look at the improvement between test 3 and test 4 on evaluating functions. We can see as a class that the students started at 50%, and by the time we went over it again, they are reaching around the 85% mark. Again, we can look at the individual student performance and see how they performed across the two tests. If again we wanted to look at evaluating functions, we can individually click on evaluating functions and look at the performance. So in this example, what we've done is we've taken all the results from the tests 1, 2, 3 and 4, put the student result against the class average. So here we have the class average, which is 64, and the student receives a result of 53. So in this example, we are below the class average. In test 2 and test 3, we can see we're clearly above the class average, but then again, in test 4, we're below the class average. It's really important to understand exactly why we're below the class average. And so in the bottom left-hand corner, we've highlighted the exact areas that the students need to focus on. And finally, on the right-hand side, we have the topic results from the last test. So here is a great visualization so we can see exactly the areas that we need to cover going forward. This report is something that can be customized by the school. You might want to add or remove information within this report. This can get sent out to parents weekly, monthly, or even fortnightly at a time suited by you, and the visuals designed exactly how you want the parents to see. We look forward to trialing this in your school.